This court sentences you to 2 years in state prison. The judge's gavel comes down. Final. Done. The man in handcuffs doesn't flinch. He looks the judge straight in the eye and says, "That man's son put my 8-year-old daughter in the hospital, gave her a concussion, and when I tried talking to him like a man, he laughed in my face. So yeah, I handled it. I'd do it again." The courtroom goes silent. Is this man a criminal or a father who did what any parent would do? Today, we're breaking down one of the most controversial cases that's divided the internet. A father who assaulted another parent outside a school, a little girl in the hospital, a system that failed, and a question that has no easy answer. When the system fails to protect your child, how far would you go? This isn't just about one dad's decision. It's about justice, revenge, parenthood, and the impossible choices we face when the people we love are hurt. Stick with me. This story is way more complicated than it looks. Let's start with the facts. What really went down? The incident at school. An 8-year-old girl is at school. Normal day, recess, kids playing. Then something happens. Another student, a boy, attacks her. We don't know exactly what triggered it. Maybe it was an argument. Maybe it was nothing. But what we do know is this: the attack was serious enough to send that little girl to the hospital with a concussion. A concussion at 8 years old. Her father gets the call, the one every parent dreads. "Your daughter's been hurt. You need to come to the hospital." He rushes there, sees his baby girl with a head injury, in pain, scared, confused, and he wants answers. The school's response. So what did the school do? According to the story, not much. Maybe they called the parents. Maybe they had a meeting. Maybe they said they'd look into it. But here's what didn't happen: meaningful consequences for the boy who put his daughter in the hospital. The father felt like the school was protecting the other kid, making excuses, minimizing what happened, and that rage started building. The father's attempt to handle it the right way. This father didn't immediately go looking for a fight. He tried to do the responsible thing. He approached the other boy's father, outside the school. He wanted to talk, man to man, parent to parent. "Your son hurt my daughter. She's in the hospital. This needs to be addressed." And the other father, according to the testimony, he laughed. Laughed in his face, dismissed it, mocked him, basically told him to get lost. And that's when something in this father snapped. The assault. We don't know every detail of what happened next, but we know it escalated to physical violence. The father assaulted the other parent, outside the school, in front of other parents, possibly in front of kids. Was it a punch? A shove that turned into a beatdown? We don't know exactly, but it was serious enough that police were called, charges were filed, and this father ended up in front of a judge. The sentencing. The judge didn't see this as a justified act of parental protection. The judge saw assault, violence, a crime. 2 years in state prison. And when given a chance to show remorse, to apologize, to say he regretted his actions, the father doubled down. "I'd do it again." Now, that statement tells us everything we need to know about this man's mindset. He's not sorry. He doesn't regret it. In his mind, he did what he had to do. But was he right? Or did he just make everything worse? This is where things get complicated, because depending on who you are, where you come from, and what you value, you're going to see this story completely differently. Let's break down both sides. Why some people support the father. If you're a parent, you probably felt something when you heard this story. You imagined your own kid in that hospital bed. You imagined the fear, the anger, the helplessness, and you thought, yeah, I'd want to do the same thing. Here's the argument in his defense. 1. The system failed. The school didn't protect his daughter. The other parent didn't take responsibility. There were no real consequences for the kid who hurt her. In his mind, the system was letting a bully get away with seriously injuring his child. So if the system won't deliver justice, what's a parent supposed to do? Just accept it? 2. He tried talking first. This father didn't immediately resort to violence. He approached the other boy. He tried to have a conversation, and he was laughed at, disrespected, dismissed, basically told him to get lost, and that's when something in this father snapped. 3. Protecting your child is primal. There's something deeply hardwired in us as parents. When your child is threatened, your brain doesn't think logically. It goes into protection mode, fight or flight, and this father chose fight. Is that wrong, or is that just human? 4. I'd do it again. For some people, this statement makes him a hero. He's saying, my daughter's safety is worth more than my freedom. I'll take the punishment, but I won't apologize for protecting her. That's a level of commitment that resonates with a lot of parents. But then there's the other side, and they make valid points too. 1. Violence isn't justice. Yes, his daughter was hurt. Yes, the other parent was disrespectful. But assault is still assault. You can't just attack people because you're angry. That's not how civilized society works. If we all took justice into our own hands, the world would be chaos. 2. He made it worse. Now this little girl doesn't just have a concussion, she has a father in prison. For 2 years, she's growing up without her dad. Birthdays, holidays, school events, he's going to miss all of it. Did the assault help her, or did it just create more trauma? 3. What about his own example? What lesson did he just teach his daughter? When someone hurts you, you hurt them back? Violence is how we solve problems? Is that really what he wanted to model for his 8-year-old? 4. Legal consequences are real. Whether you agree with the law or not, there are consequences. He knew assaulting someone was illegal. He did it anyway. Now he's paying the price. Some people say, well, what did he expect? The uncomfortable truth. Here's what makes this so hard. Both sides are kind of right. The father's anger was justified. His protective instinct was natural. The system did fail him, but his response was also illegal, harmful, and ultimately made things worse for his daughter. This is the kind of moral dilemma that has no clean answer. It's easy to say, I'd do the same thing from the comfort of your couch, but would you really sacrifice 2 years of your child's life to prove a point? Let's zoom out, because this story isn't really about one father and one fight. It's about a much bigger problem. What happens when the systems meant to protect our kids fail? Schools are overwhelmed. Let's be real, schools are not equipped to handle serious violence between students. Teachers are overworked, administrators are scared of lawsuits, parents are defensive. So when something bad happens, the response is often downplay it, call it kids being kids, have a meeting, move on. And the kid who got hurt, they're just expected to deal with it. Bullying has real consequences. We treat bullying like it's a normal part of childhood. Kids will be kids. But research shows that victims of childhood bullying suffer long-term effects: depression, anxiety, PTSD, lower academic performance, trust issues that last into adulthood. A concussion at 8 years old isn't just kids being kids, it's assault. If an adult did that to another adult, they'd be arrested immediately. But when a kid does it to a kid, well, let's have a restorative justice circle and talk about our feelings. Parents feel powerless. This is the real issue. This father felt like he had no other options. The school wasn't helping. The other parent didn't care. The legal system for juveniles moves slowly, if at all. So what's a parent supposed to do? You can't sue an 8-year-old, you can't press criminal charges against a child, you can't force the school to expel them. You're just stuck, watching your kids suffer, knowing the person who hurt them is facing no real consequences. That powerlessness turns into rage, and rage looks for an outlet. The other parent's role for a second, the one who laughed. If the story is true, if he really did dismiss and mock a father whose daughter was in the hospital, that's disgusting. Even if you think your kid didn't do anything wrong, even if you think the other parent is overreacting, you don't laugh in someone's face when their child is hurt. That level of disrespect escalates everything. Could this whole situation have been avoided if the other father had just shown basic human decency? If he had said, "I'm sorry your daughter got hurt, let's figure out what happened." Maybe, we'll never know. What should have happened? In an ideal world, here's how this would have played out. The school takes the incident seriously, investigates thoroughly, documents everything. Both sets of parents are brought in for a meeting. The situation is explained clearly. The child who caused the injury faces real consequences: suspension, mandatory counseling, separation from the victim. The victim's family is supported, medical bills covered, therapy provided if needed. If the behavior continues or was severe enough, law enforcement gets involved appropriately. But that's not what happened, and this father felt like he had no other choice. The vigilante justice problem. Here's the danger. When people feel like official systems don't work, they take justice into their own hands, and that never ends well. Because once you normalize vigilante justice, where does it stop? What if the other father decides to retaliate when this guy gets out of prison? What if their families start a feud that lasts for years? What if other parents at the school start thinking, well, if he can do it, so can I? Violence begets violence. Revenge begets revenge. That's why we have systems in the first place. Imperfect as they are, they're supposed to break that cycle. But when those systems fail, can we really blame people for breaking them? Let's talk about what was really happening in this father's mind. Because this isn't just about anger, it's about something much deeper. The parental protection instinct. When your child is threatened, your brain undergoes a neurological shift. Your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for fear and aggression, goes into overdrive. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logical thinking and impulse control, shuts down. This is evolution. For thousands of years, parents who didn't have a strong protective instinct, their kids didn't survive. So we're hardwired to feel intense, irrational rage when our children are harmed. This father's response wasn't calculated. It was primal. The humiliation factor. But there's another layer here. The other father laughed at him. That's not just disrespect, that's emasculation. Especially for men, there's a deep cultural expectation that you protect your family. That's what a man does. And when another man laughs at you while your daughter is in the hospital, that's a direct challenge to your identity as a father and as a man. That combination, protective rage plus humiliation, is explosive. The "I do it again" mentality. This statement tells us something important about his psychology. He's not conflicted. He's not questioning his choice. He's doubling down. Why? Because in his mind, he passed the test. A test of, am I the kind of father who protects my daughter no matter what? And by going to prison for her, he's proving it to himself, to her, to the world that he is. That's why he's not sorry. In his value system, he did the right thing. But here's the problem. Protection isn't just about the immediate threat, it's about long-term well-being. Yes, he handled the other father, but now, his daughter grows up without him for 2 years. She has to deal with the stigma of having a dad in prison. She might internalize that violence is how you solve problems. She's learning that revenge is more important than presence. Is that protection, or is that just satisfying his own need for retribution? Real protection sometimes means swallowing your pride, controlling your rage, and being there for your kid even when it's hard. The martyrdom complex. There's also something to be said for the martyr complex here. I sacrificed my freedom for my daughter. That sounds noble. It sounds heroic. But is it? Or is it selfish? Because she didn't ask him to do that. She needs her dad home, not in prison. Sometimes the hardest thing, and the most truly protective thing, is to not act on your rage. Let's get practical. What are the actual legal and ethical boundaries here? What the law says. In every state, assault is illegal, period. It doesn't matter if you were provoked, it doesn't matter if you were defending your child's honor, it doesn't matter if the other person deserved it. You cannot physically attack someone. Now, there are legal exceptions. Self-defense, if you're being physically attacked, defense of others, if someone is actively harming another person. But my kid was hurt yesterday and I'm angry today doesn't qualify. The threat has to be immediate and ongoing. So what were his actual options? 1. File a police report. Even against a minor, you can file a report documenting what happened. Create a paper trail. 2. Pursue civil action. You can sue the parents of the kid who hurt yours for medical bills, pain and suffering, emotional distress. 3. Demand a school response. Escalate to the superintendent. Go to school board meetings. Make noise publicly. 4. Pull your kid from that school. If the school won't protect your daughter, remove her from that environment. 5. Seek a restraining order. In some cases, you can get a protective order to keep the other child away from yours. None of these are as satisfying as punching someone in the face, but they're legal, and they might actually help your kid. The 2-year cost. Let's do some math on what this father is actually sacrificing. 2 years in prison means missing 730 days of his daughter's childhood, missing 2 birthdays, 2 Christmases, 2 first days of school, his daughter visiting him behind glass if she visits at all, the trauma of knowing her dad is in prison, potential financial devastation for the family, a felony record that will affect employment forever. Was 30 seconds of violence worth all of that? The precedent this sets. Here's what worries me about celebrating this father's choice. It tells other parents, this is how you handle it. And some parents will take that message and run with it. More fights, more assaults, more violence, and more kids growing up watching their parents choose revenge over presence. The ethical question. Here's the core ethical dilemma. Is it ever morally right to break the law to protect your child? My answer is, sometimes yes. If someone is actively harming your child right now and the law says you have to wait for police, screw the law, protect your kid. But if the harm already happened and you're just angry, that's not protection anymore. That's revenge. And revenge doesn't heal your child. It just creates more pain. So what do we take away from this mess? For parents, 1. Your rage is valid, but your response matters. It's okay to be furious when your child is hurt. That's normal. That's human. But you have to channel that rage productively. Fight the system. Demand change. Protect your child's future. Don't just lash out and make everything worse. 2. Your presence is more valuable than your revenge. Your kids need you there, every day, for the long haul. 2 years in prison isn't protecting them. It's abandoning them, even if your intentions were good. 3. Model the behavior you want to see. Your kids are watching. They're learning how to handle conflict, anger, injustice. Show them that you can be strong without being violent, that you can fight for them without destroying yourself in the process. For schools, 1. Take violence seriously. Stop minimizing, stop protecting bullies, stop worrying more about liability than about kids' safety. When a child ends up in the hospital, that's not kids being kids, that's assault. 2. Support victims' families. Parents need to feel heard, supported, and confident that their child is safe. If you fail to do that, you create situations like this. For all of us. 1. The system is broken. Schools, juvenile justice, parental accountability, all of it needs reform. We can't keep expecting parents to just accept when their kids are hurt and nothing happens. 2. Empathy goes both ways. Try to understand why this father did what he did, even if you think he was wrong. And try to understand why the legal system had to punish him, even if you think he was right. There are no easy answers. This isn't a story with a hero and a villain. It's a tragedy where everyone lost. A little girl lost her father for 2 years. A father lost his freedom. 2 families are permanently damaged, and nothing was made better by that violence. Those 4 words will haunt this case forever, because they reveal a man who truly believes he did the right thing, who would choose the same path knowing the consequences. And I don't know if he's a hero or a cautionary tale. Maybe he's both. A father who loved his daughter so much he was willing to sacrifice everything for her, but also a father who chose revenge over presence, rage over reason, a moment of violence over years of being there. Here's what I hope you take from this. If you're a parent, I hope you never face this choice. I hope your kids are safe. I hope the systems work for you. But if you do face it, if your child is hurt and you feel that primal rage building, I hope you remember, the best way to protect your child is to be there. Not in prison, not consumed by revenge, not making choices that hurt them even more. There, present, fighting smart, not just fighting hard. That little girl didn't need her father to beat someone up. She needed him home, and now she doesn't have that. So before you celebrate this father's choice, ask yourself, would his daughter make the same choice? I don't think so. What do you think? Drop it in the comments. Was he right? Was he wrong? What would you have done? Hit that like button, subscribe for more real talk on impossible situations, and hug your kids today, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. I'll see you in the next one.